German cooking has really like merged into the mainstream completely. It's there, it's all around everyone all the time, but you don't notice it.
Let's talk about the name. How did you come up with PMQ?
PMQ were housing that the Canadian military would build for soldiers and their families. And when I decided I wanted to build a German restaurant here, kind of reflecting on my connection to Germany as being a military brat who lived in the Lahr Canadian military bases there and living in a PMQ housing, to me, it represented this act of intentional home, family, and community building. And I just felt that's exactly what I want to do.
Well, let's head over to the kitchen, see what's cooking. So who are your customers? Who comes in here?
We have a variety of people who come in here. We definitely get people who know German cooking or are themselves German. We also get a lot of people who they hear about my story and they themselves often lived in or were born or grew up in Lahr as part of the Canadians over there. And they usually want to talk to me. They're like, hi, I also was in Lahr. And then I think it's just people who are curious to try something different. We definitely do get customers and they see our menu and they're just like, I don't know what a lot of this stuff is. And so our servers have to do a lot of double work explaining the various dishes to people. Pretzels and schnitzels are the one thing that people usually are like, okay, that I get. I know what a pretzel is. I'm going to get that. I know how delicious those can taste.
Is there a certain knack to doing this?
Doing it a lot.
Yeah, right.
Over and over and over again.
How many do you think you've made?
It's got to be a few thousand at this point. So we're going to stick it into our simmering pot in the back. And that is water with a little bit of baking soda and salt in it. The point is that you'll have that chemical reaction to the exterior of the bread, and that's really what makes it smell and taste pretzel-y. Otherwise, it just tastes like baked bread.
Now, your mom's had a big influence on you, though, right, in terms of what you make?
Yeah, you know, I was the firstborn child. She had been in the military herself previous to that, and I think she very much sort of like stranded in a foreign country with a new baby, and she just sort of like leaned a lot into the place that she was at, and she picked up a lot of recipes. And so even though we moved away when I was 5, we still were eating the schnitzels and the spatzels and all the good things that she had picked up there and brought back here to Canada with her.
What are you seeing with the food scene even since you've come back to the city and grown up in the city? Have you seen many changes?
Yeah, I've lived in Halifax on and off since I was 12 years old. And I think it's, you know, phenomenal in the ways. It's like, as much as I love chowder and fish cakes, it's nice to see other things suddenly becoming possible. We have the whole world coming here to Nova Scotia, and it makes Nova Scotia a much richer place for having all that here. So in much the same way that Germans once influenced and became part of what it is to have Nova Scotia cuisine, it's now, we have so many more new people also doing the exact same thing, and we are all the richer and better for it.
So now we've got the finished product.
Yeah.
What do you start with?
People usually eat a pretzel as their appetizer.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Pretzel cheers.
Now what is that?
That's maple butter.
Also just sort of slather it on?
Just slather it on, yeah, go right ahead. We do the maple butter. Usually in Germany it would be honey butter, but maple butter seems slightly more
A little
Canadian.
nod to Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
All right, I'm wearing white, so this could be dangerous. All right, dig in.
Dig in.
So good. So tender. And a really good mushroom flavor, too.
That's fresh pasta for you.
Well, this has like been a little visit to Germany. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.